Biafran War pattern we are today or tomorrow is a promise. But before that, there is something I want to say that all the Igbos need to know. Please, Iburo Onyibo neighbor, pay attention. Don't scroll. Just give me few minutes of your time. I promise I'm going to make this video fast so that I won't consume your data. You see, if this is the first time you are following me or you are seeing my account, please follow. Go to my previous video and watch the Biafran War explained from part 1 to part 9, from beginning to the end. I'm dropping them one by one. And I've read a lot of books about this Biafran whole thing since the beginning of this year. I think I've read The Revolution of Biafran War by Alexander Madiebo. I've read The Biafran War, my memoirs by Patrick Auma. I've read The Biafran Story by Patrick Fawcett, a white man. I've read Because I'm Involved by Chukwemeka Odnegojuku. I've read My Command by Chukwemeka Odnegojuku. I've read There Was a Nation Called Biafra by Chino Achebe. I've read Remember the Race of Biafra by Chino Achebe. I've read The Revolution and Biafran War by what's this man's name? Okay. Let me leave that one aside. And the Nigerian Revolution and Biafran War as well by Wole Soyinka. After reading all these books, I've ordered for more to arrive to read. But with the ones I've read so far, there is something that I realized. It is the war against the igbos. I've also read the Nigerian colonialism. I've read a lot about Nigerian colonialism. And everything points to one message. It is always the war against the igbos. Why? Why do the world hate us so much? I keep asking this question, but I think now I've gotten an answer. The world hates the igbos so much that if there is any given opportunity to kill an Igbo man, they will grab it and utilize it. I am saying this without an apology. The world hates the Igbos so much. If there is any given opportunity that the world has to kill the Igbos, they will grab it at all cost and utilize it well to kill the Igbos. I keep on asking why? See, but now I've gotten an answer. It's no longer, now I've gotten an answer. And I will tell you the answer. But before that, I want to tell you what I realized in the books that I've read so far. One thing I realized, it is the world, always the world against the Igbos. I keep on asking why. They hate us so much. Why? And I realized something. They didn't hate us because we are not Christians, or because we are Christians, or because we refuse to accept Muslim or Islam. No. They didn't hate us because we refuse to accept Western education. No. Let me start from the beginning. When the white men came to our land, you can hear something like the fall of Benin. The Benin was defeated and conquered. You can hear something like the fall of Igala, or the conquer of Igala, of Igbos, the Okumeku War, the war against the Kalabiri and the Zone, the Ijo, the capture of the Calabar, the capture of the Igbos, the capture of the Western Igbos. You can hear all these things like this. But you can never hear something like the capture of Sokoto Caliphate by the Britain. No. The Benins were seen undefeatable to Uthman Dafodio when he came to Benin. He could not penetrate. The people were very, very strong. He decided to push towards the north, Igala, where there was a joint effort of the Igala, the Igbos, the Ijo, the Calabars, the Benins, that led to his death at Igala, if you've read the story. Now, the Britain came. If Britain had the might to defeat the Igbos, the Calabars, the Ijo, the Benins that seem undefeatable to Wandafodio, that means they still have the same might to destroy the northern Islamic caliphates and plant Bible there. But guess what? They did not. They preserved Islam. They preserved Islam for their purpose, for a purpose that way you don't know. Go and read about the Nigerian colonialism, you will understand better. Fast forward to the Civil War. Now get something. The war is beyond a coup and a counter coup. I'm coming. The Nigerian Civil War, from what I've read so far, is beyond a coup and a counter coup. During the war, it was named when Allah is fighting Jehovah. You will hear this word in the end of the explanation video, not made by me, but by somebody else who explained the war, even some white men that explained the war. You will hear something like when Allah fights Jehovah in the war. That was during the war process. That was what it was named, when Allah is fighting Jehovah. When I heard that word, I was expecting the powerful Christian nations to give support to their Christian brothers. But no, it didn't happen. The US was a Christian nation, but they supported the Nigerian government to kill the Igbos, which were the major Christian population in Nigeria. East Germany was a Christian nation. But guess what? They supported the federal government to kill the Igbos. The Poland was a Christian nation, but what happened? They supported the federal government to kill the Igbos. Now come to the United Nations, the major powerhouse. The China was not a Christian or Muslim, but they supported the Nigerian government to kill the Igbos. The Soviet Union were neither Christian or Muslims, no. But what happened? They supported the federal government to kill the Igbos. The Soviet Union was one of the most big support that the Nigerian government gave, because they gave Nigerians flights, fighter jets, on conditions only to be flew by Egyptian pilots. Today, the Egypt are Muslims or Islam. What happened? The Egyptians provided estimated 52 pilots to flee those aircraft that the Soviet Union brought. The most funny part is that those aircraft was not used against the Biafran armies, but against the armless civilians, the refugee camps, women and children. And those pilots, the Biafran government during the war tried to document those things and publish it. Later on, the Nigerian government replaced those pilots with pilots from East Germany who seemed to be more competent, but the same thing. War was supposed to be army killing army, not the armless civilian. Now, let me draw your attention to something. Do you know the mission? The mission was clear at the massacre in Asaba. That was the mission. The mission was clear. I listened to a video of a woman giving an account of the Asaba massacre. How a pregnant woman, how the baby in her womb was brought out and she was killed, and the baby too was killed. I watched the video somewhere, and I want to look for the video again. I will look for it. During the Civil War, women were trapped by armies, and those women were assaulted sexually. Get this right. Men were separated from their wives, sisters, children, and they were slaughtered in mass. This is the mission: to kill all the men, all the male boys, then condemn your women to slavery and capture them. By so doing, the Igbos will go extinct. That is the mission, that is the plan, but it failed. When the war was started, when Allah fight Jehovah, I expect the Christian nations to react. But what even the African Christian nations betrayed the people. South Africa betrayed the people. They were a Christian nation. Kenya was a Christian nation. They betrayed you people. Cameroon, Was a Christian nation. They betrayed you people. Name them. You all were betrayed by the Christians, by the Muslims. But if you look at the Hausa part, who are the Muslims, the federal government parts, the Islam gave them major support. The Iran, the Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Chad, Niger, they got a major support from their Islamic brothers. Now this get me thinking, what was the mission? What was the mission? I watched a video where a woman said that her mother experienced during the Asaba massacre because her mother lived in the north and she understands Hausa. But the people that came, the armies that came later on, were not speaking Hausa but a foreign language. Those are the foreign missionaries from the Arabs or the other parts of Africa who are black, who are Islam, who supported Nigeria. Now, let me tell you something. Why did the world hate you? Even when the Bible came, they killed you to give you Bible. You accepted the same Bible. You believe in the same Bible. You defended the same Bible, and you were ready to die for that same Bible. But the same people that gave you the Bible was the ones who supported your enemies to kill you with the Bible. It was think. I'm not against Christianity, no, don't get me wrong. But I'm putting at a point. Why? Why is it always the Igbos against the world? Why? A question. Why? Funny enough, recently, a BBC documentary was released by a Yoruba man to favor the North, the government, the federal government. And recently, a lot of cock and bull news have been trending of a textbook released by the Yoruba people, history textbooks excluding the Igbos. Why the hatred? A man traveling with the British passport was illegally arrested, detained, and sentenced to life, and the British remained quiet and silent. Why the hatred? Have you come to think? This was the same people that came to kill and give you Bible, ask you to believe in it, took away your holy sacramentals and give you a book, and you defended that book to the call. And when it's time you cry for their help, they look at you in your face, give you medicine, and go behind and give your enemies guns to kill you and give you medicine to treat yourself. Ojukwu rejected that. Now let me tell you. Now, why did they hate you people? They didn't hate you because of the Bible you are carrying. No. They didn't hate you because of that Bible. No. They hated you because you are evil. Because they feared what you people could become. Because how can a people with blockades, with no support, no help for good 3 years, were able to produce an aircraft, fighter aircraft? That was the first place where the world goes silent. How can the people with blockades were able to produce an explosive artillery called the Buligwe? How can the people with the blockades produce guns, bullets, machine guns, even an ammo tanker? They feared what you could become. If we should give these people a chance to be a nation for just 3 years, that means they will be the world power. That is it. The freedom of Igbo is the freedom of Africa. And the freedom of Africa is a threat to the Europeans because they know that the whole shit that they have done to Africa will be a payback time. And the destiny of Africa lies in the hands of the Igbos. That is why they hated you so much. They know this. And the freedom of Africa lies in the hands of the Igbos. The freedom of Igbos is the freedom of Africa. And the freedom of Africa will shake in the foundations of not only Europe, even the world. Because Africa feeds the world. Africa is the life of the world. Africa is the air that the world breathes. This is the reason they don't want Africa to stand. Because the foundation of Africa is Igbo. That is why. But it hurts me so much It hurts me so much seeing the people that the world is against fighting themselves. It hurts me so much seeing these same people that the world has killed during the economic war, the world has killed during colonialism, the world has killed during the massacre of Nigeria, the world has killed during the civil war, the world, and still yet they are fighting each other. And a question, somebody asked a question in my comment section and said, why do the Igbos betray each other? I will explain that in my next video. I don't want this video to be too long. I will explain that. But just know this. They hated you because you are Igbo, and they know that you are the destiny of Africa. That is why they hated you. So Igbos, let us unite for one cause. Let us unite and go back to the days when our ancestors made a parable and say, Onurude nwanne ya agbala ọsọ, maka na onye gburu nwanne ya bụrụ odogwu. Igbos, think. Take a time, sit down. If you have palm wine, grab it. If you have cola, grab it. If you have osoji, grab it. Eat it. Drink the palm wine and think. Use your tongue to catch your teeth and think. Why always the Igbos against the world? Watch out my next video on the betrayer.